Listen. Welcome to LME Streams, the casual little stream over here where we talk about all of the new stuff that has come out. For the most part, I realize that there's too much stuff that comes out and we're just going to burn ourselves out every single week. So I've relegated it back down to what really is just our top five. So what we have going on this week is technically more TV than there is movies. And Zach and I have been talking about how for the longest time, we are literally going to enter a world in where all the Marvel movies are now Marvel TV series, and all the movies that we loved are turning into TV series. So it's almost like no matter where you go, everything's going to be a TV series. And for my top five, I technically have more TV series than I have movies. So there's going to be an interesting amount to discuss over here. I'm trying to bring up and make sure that Zach can see my screen as well. But shout out to everybody who's listening in, be it on the live chat, be it later on when you're watching the rewatch on this. And shout out to all the patrons as well. We will be doing our Patreon chat right after this. I know we got some other brackets that we're trying to amp up as well. And the last time we went in at it when it came to this upcoming bracket that we're going to be doing on Intercut. So we haven't even done that bracket yet, right?
No, that one is coming up at the end of April, so we'll get into it then.
Yeah, but pretty good stuff. But for right now, we have our pretty much the top movies and TV shows that we liked this past weekend. There isn't too much that has come out, just to be honest with you. But out of the stuff that has come out, we have an entire video that we just recorded over on Intricate that we're going to be releasing, talking about all of the new stuff from January, February, and March that we liked. We're doing it a quarterly this year, so definitely stay tuned for that. But out of the stuff that we got, surprisingly, my favorite movie is a short movie. Two Distant Strangers came out this past weekend. On Netflix. It is the short that is nominated for an Academy Award. We talked a little bit over on Intricate about this one. I know Zach hasn't seen it yet, but out of all the ones that have been nominated for an Academy Award, I've been rooting for White Eye. I think that is an excellent short film. It played over at Philly Fest, I believe, and it's been one that I really hope a lot of people get the chance to catch. But Two Distant Strangers, at least, is the one that is available for you to catch online right now. And that's been one of the best things about shorts. It's that not with streaming, you actually have the ability to be able to catch these things without having to worry about going to a theater that may be, doing the program or not. But Two Distant Strangers stars Joey Badass, who I don't think has been in too many things yet. I know he also has Beauty coming out supposedly later this year.
He was on the second season of Mr. Robot.
That's right. So he's got more TV than he's had movies. And I will say, we were talking about how A$AP Rocky's also in Monster that's going to be coming out on Netflix. So you're seeing a lot of rappers who have transitioned. Even who was in Boogie? I didn't get to catch Boogie, but I think you did.
Pop Smoke, yeah.
So you've had like a good amount of people who have transitioned over from music over to movies, to film. And I think Joey does a pretty good job. I liked Joey more in this short than I liked the short, I will say. We were talking about how there has been a lot of Groundhog Day movies that have been coming out. And in particular with Two Distant Strangers and this one that I'm searching up right here, the Obituary of Tunde Johnson, they have a very similar story in terms of a young black dude in America going about his business and has to relive the same day, and no matter what he does, cannot get out of it. Tunde Johnson gets into a lot of other stuff as well, and I will say that it's been a very mixed movie for a lot of people, but obviously when it comes to this short, got the Oscar nom. It's gotten a lot of attention as well. I like it a little bit more than Tunde Johnson. I know Zach didn't get to see it, and there's some stuff I really want to discuss with him in terms of spoilers, and we might do a little bit more fleshed out discussion on Intercut, but it's pretty solid. Again, I'm still rooting for White Eye when it comes to the category, but I was mostly impressed with Joey Badass's performance because there's a lot of delivery in this short film where it comes off very cliche. It comes, not even cliche, but it's these moments that are talking points that everybody knows about, and trying to put it in a narrative, it could come off a little cheesy, a little more like you're just trying to hit the boxes, but he does a pretty good job at delivering it. It comes from Martin Desmond Rowe and Trevon Free, who I don't know of any of the other stuff that they've done. Maybe they've done some other shorts that haven't appeared. They're pretty recently new for me, but they do a good job at following through the story in a way where you're, again, in the mind of Joey's character more than you are the police. So at no point do you have to worry that it's going to come off like, what's the music video that what's his name did? I'm Not Racist. there's a certain point
Joyner Lucas or whatever.
where you don't know if it's going to go that Joyner Lucas route or stick in the camp that it's starting off with. But I am curious to know your thoughts on this. Personally, for me, I give it 3 stars.
It's also written and directed by Trayvon, who I'm excited to see him get a little bit more shine. He's a guy whose TV writing career I've been following a bit because he came from those like news comedy shows. He was on The Daily Show with Jon Stewart. I think he spent some time on John Oliver's show and Sam Bee's show. So he's got a bit of like a political comedy background.
Nice. Okay, I see. All right. But yeah, I'm curious to know your thoughts on this one. I know we also got a link sent to us for what's the other short that got nominated? With Oscar Isaac?
The Letter Room.
Did you get to catch that one?
Yeah, that one's actually very, very good. I like that quite a bit. It stars Oscar Isaac as a guard at a prison who gets promoted to scanning the letters in the mail room. He opens up the letters before they're delivered to the prisoners, and it's just a really well told story. I think the advantage of having a guy like Oscar Isaac in your short film is that he's able to create such a distinct character so readily that you totally believe this guy as a guy. I thought it was really well told, a really interesting character. A lot of the dialogue is just really good and keeps you into it. So from what I've seen of the live action shorts, which so far has only been 2 of them, I think, Letter Room is my favorite. I'm going to do my catch up, I think, within the next week on those shorts.
Yeah, I know we got a couple as well to see. I'm still missing The Present and Feeling. Oh, actually, no, I saw Feeling Through at Slamdance had it earlier this year. I thought this was a pretty interesting one. I did not even expect this one to have made it all the way to an Oscar nomination, but shout out to it.
Yeah, that one, Feeling Through, is available on YouTube right now, so that one should be easy for people to catch.
Definitely catch this one. It's a pretty interesting one. Again, still rooting for White Eye. I hope this is the one that takes it home all the way. I don't know if this one's streaming anywhere in particular. I know a lot of these shorts are getting picked up by Topic or Mubi. I have no idea what the release is going to be for this one. I know it played at a couple of festivals, may still be playing at some, but this is the one that I'm still rooting for out of the bunch. I don't know if you had a top pick for your week to mention, but my remaining are actually shows.
From movies over the past week. Well, I'll mention stuff that I mentioned on the Intercut podcast that we just recorded, but a couple of movies that I liked. City of Lies, I liked a little bit more than I expected to. It's a newly released crime thriller of sorts with Johnny Depp and Forrest Whitaker starring as a retired detective and a journalist who together try to get to the bottom of the conspiracy behind the murder of Tupac Shakur. And it kind of has a bit of an outlandish premise, in the crazy speculation of it does feel at times like a Discovery Channel style documentary. Like there's whole sequences of archival footage and stuff like that that are just shown over Johnny Depp narration, but ultimately it is a pretty compelling story set in a world we should have some familiar with. I guess it's such a like a mythological part of pop culture history at this point. I don't know if the movie did any convincing to tell its story. Like, I don't find the story in it to be believable, but it's compelling at least.
Yeah,
so I would recommend it.
When you recommended it, when you told me what it was about, I was like, wait, this is about Tupac and Biggie? And I had seen this poster so many times, and it wasn't until he told me that I did not see that it was Biggie.
You don't register.
I was just seeing them.
Yeah, you don't register that it's Biggie in the background.
Yeah, I didn't know that this was in the making, but yeah, okay. We got a link to this. This is definitely one that I'm going to be watching. At least it's entertaining, according to you. So yeah, that's all I could ask for.
Definitely entertaining. A kind of weird Johnny Depp performance in that it's not a weird Johnny Depp performance, if that makes sense.
I feel you.
But not my favorite performance from him either. Not that he's a guy that I like seeing much on screen at this point. And then also I'd go with Honeydew, a movie that I think has been getting some mixed response, but does a lot of things that I found to be really interesting. It's this horror movie about a couple that gets stranded and starts looking for help, and they happen upon a creepy house, and they don't leave the house because it's a horror movie. But it does a lot of cool things in terms of its use of sound design and cutaways and the places where it chooses to end a scene, uh, done so to intentionally kind of jar you and unsettle you while you watch the movie. There's all these noises that sound like they come from a human, but they're actually part of the soundtrack. I liked a lot of aspects of a lot about that, and although I think some of it is just creepy for being creepy's sake, I was satisfied enough with the filmmaking that I'm glad that I watched it. So if you're looking for something unsettling, something in the horror realm, I would recommend Honeydew. So those are my two movie selections from this past week.
All right. Before I give my top two, which actually come from TV, some pretty solid episodes that we got. Shout out to the chat, which again I realized I always do this. I take the time to set up a stream and then just click the other one, but I think you'll find it eventually. Yep. Shout out Pranu, reached out, says, "Will you be watching the Mortal Kombat movie?" Yes, we will. I know that's also going to get its HBO release. I got to go back and watch the first two though, and I haven't. I don't think I've seen them since like the blockbuster days, to be honest with you. So it's going to be very interesting revisiting those.
I have never seen those.
Well, good luck to you, sir. Dexter says, "Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing?" Magnitude also in the chat. Shout out to you. But let me get to the top two. We're going to be answering some questions. So if y'all have any questions, definitely hit us up down below in the chat. But my top of this week, Invincible, dude. I know this isn't even on Letterboxd. A good thing I got the IMDb pulled up over here. Invincible has been delivering. First of all, shout out to the way that Amazon does it for the press. I always like giving you guys a little insight on how it works on our end. So pretty much they literally send us the episodes, I want to say about Monday, Tuesday. I don't know if you're getting them too, Zach, but through that screeners, they just plop them up there.
They send us like maybe 3 days before they're out into public.
It's pretty nice. They got this thing working out very fluidly, and they've just mastered the weekly release thing as well. I will give them that. They're on episode 5 right now, if I'm not mistaken. They are obviously covering the first arc of the graphic novel, which I highly recommend. I believe I got 60 to 70% through the series, which also comes from Robert Kirkman. So many of you may know him from The Walking Dead and some of the other comics that he's made. I think Invincible is a fantastic read, and it has made for a fantastic show. It is brutal. When you click it on Prime, it's got this little warning there that tells you, yo, this is for mature audiences. Yep, it's for mature audiences. It delivers. Yep. But I have been loving the way that they've been carrying the story, and just the action syncs up on you, and it's been engaging all around. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very charming show. I don't think it because it's similar to The Boys in some aspects in that it is a bit of a subversive look at what superhero-dom is like, what it might be like if placed into more of a real-world context. But whereas The Boys has an underlying mean quality to it, it is a little bit like poking fun. Invincible is a little bit more celebratory. It's a little bit more of like a celebration of the idea of superheroes, and it plays into what we like about it. And while a lot of it is kind of light and fluffy because there's sort of a whole coming of age thing, it's about this teenager, it will then get into these moments that are just gut-wrenching and really, really devastating. And I like that the show, A, will take those kinds of risks, and B, is able to surprise me so much over the course of only 5 episodes so far. And shout out to Ricardo in the old chat, the last live stream videos chat, who said Invincible's most recent episode was a 5 out of 5 in my opinion. Yeah, I agree. The first episode, without getting into spoilers, the first episode has something that happens that is crazy. And you think, wow, that is going to be the most devastating thing that happens in this entire series. And it does not seem like it's going to be like an isolated incident in terms of the world that Invincible is building.
Nope. Yeah, highly recommend it. This has been just Amazon killing it when it comes to the superhero subgenre, kind of poking fun of it to a degree. But I also highly recommend the graphic novel. Definitely check it out if you can. Maybe even be up on Hoopla, which we're always big fans of. Just connect your library cards. So definitely check that out. We got a real quick one over here. Julie RC says, "What did you guys think of the animation in Invincible? I heard mixed comments." Now, at first, I was very stilted on it until the more that you watch it, it kind of reminds you when you play the Telltale games for The Walking Dead, and you're like, this isn't really great anime, until you realize it's the actual comic come to life. And the more that I started just remembering scenes from the graphic novel, you realize, like, this is it. you can take the episode, take stills, and recreate the comic. So that's really what they
Right.
were going for. And at that point, I was like, all right, it feels a little stilted at times, but it is just the way that they're still able to deliver on the action. That's when I was like, all right,
Yeah.
it's working for me.
It's not the most fluid animation out
Mhm.
there, but it's definitely in the spirit of the comic books and gives you that comic book feeling.
Mm-hmm. Magnitude said he wants them to be a little bit more fleshed out. They will be. I hope that they're able to go on for a couple of seasons because some of the stuff that they get on the later trade paperbacks, some really good arcs. Cedra says, "Are you guys going to do an episode on Shiva Baby?" Yes, I will be talking a lot about Shiva Baby. I think Shiva Baby is going to be that one we can't stop thinking about, so we'll be mentioning it
Yeah.
in multiple times. But yeah, shout out Shiva Baby. That's also out. That would have been one of my picks for one of the weeks that we were gone. Surprisingly, Zach, and this may never happen again, so I got to give him the credit right now. Falcon and the Winter Soldier gets one of my top picks this week. I don't know how it happened. I don't.
I was a little surprised.
Look, WandaVision had kind of earned one through an episode that they had until that episode's ending meant absolute nothing at the end of it. So that got retracted. This one gave us one hell of an ending. Without getting into too much spoilers, I have been very mixed on this series in terms of how they've been following this cast and crew. Not just like, you know, we had our discussions about them flipping all of their movie characters into TV. But there's also been a lot of discussions in what this show is trying to handle, how they handle it, and how none of these issues existed in the MCU for the last 15 years until now. Very interesting. It seems to do a lot when it's talking about race, yet like doesn't at the same time. Again, I can't go fully into it because they're only halfway through, and we're supposed to be seeing one of the pivotal characters, which is another super soldier that got tested on a lot, and I'm very curious to see how they expand that, and I'm hoping that they stick the landing when it comes to that character in particular. But I personally am really hoping that this man leaves with the shield. That's all I could predict right now. If this man does not leave with the shield, I'm going to be really ticked off because that ending that they had on that last episode was beautiful. Talking about Amazon and Homelander, and you saw season 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
For the boys?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Man, they had a sequence there that ended up being a cop-out, but the way that they displayed that thing that he had thinking of in his mind when he was in a crowd, crazy. Seems like the MCU might have gone through with something similar, and I'm really excited to catch the next episode. I will be up at 2 o'clock in the morning when it drops. I've been catching these in the morning, but consider me a little tuned in. Again, I'm still iffy with the way that they're covering a lot of the subject matter. It seems very forced. It seems very, again, Disney patting itself on the back for something that they did. But
yeah, I think the thing that you're talking about is that a lot of the show doesn't really feel like it's tackling ideas like racism in America so much as it's like including the idea of racism in America. Not really doing much beyond that. But they've been setting up some different plot lines, and I don't know how successful they've been so far in really selling them. Episode 4 did come with, you know, a big like culminating of different ideas. The idea of who is worthy to carry the shield and what does the shield mean. That idea that's been built into the Captain America character since its inception really comes to a fore in this latest episode, like you said. And yeah, that ending works really, really great.
I will say this. They should have never released that dude. The dude who they released, if you don't know, man got his own dance cut as well. Bro, I would have smacked that dude. I still don't understand.
Zemo.
I still don't understand how you're walking around with this man after everything that he did during Civil War. It's unbelievable to me. Also, the character of one of the Dora Milaje, what they did with this guy, I'm sure you saw the trending tweet about how he gets literally disarmed.
Yeah.
And the debate about like, oh no, poor Bucky, he did.
Is it ableist?
Hey, this man has technology from somebody else. Batman walks around with kryptonite to kill all of his friends at the Justice League. I think it's fair game. I didn't really understand that complaint to it, but it adds to the story of Bucky, which I've really been enjoying. of how tormented he is. Again, I was really hoping that they would have been able to flesh this out a little bit more in the movies, but I guess, I mean, that's how we get it in the show.
Yeah.
I feel like he's the more compelling character right now. Um, but I'm hoping that they still stick it with Anthony Mackie and that still transitions over to the movies, because you don't have Captain America, movie Captain America, give him the shield, and then you're just not going to have that playback
Right.
into the actual cinematic universe. So that's what I'm hoping for.
Pranu in the chat asked, do you believe that the Falcon and the Winter Soldier had a deleted plot line? There's a lot of people speculating that not only Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but WandaVision
Easily.
had some stuff that didn't make the final cuts, partially because of COVID stuff or partially because they couldn't shoot it. I think the fact that this is only 6 episodes long is interesting, because that's such a odd length for a modern series. But
wait, for real?
Yeah.
What you mean?
I mean, we got 2 more and this thing is over.
Really?
Yeah.
Well then.
So
okay.
Interesting. They got 2 episodes left to wrap this all up. There are some rumors that there was a virus subplot that has since been deleted because of COVID fears. I'm curious to know what you think about that.
I mean, yeah. I would hope so. I'm very curious to see just how the release has worked, because again, we had talked about previously how it wasn't supposed to be WandaVision first. It would have been, if I'm not mistaken, Black Widow and then WandaVision. So it's like whatever storyline that would have connected things, be it through after credits and such, I'm sure that that's been switched around, and I'm curious to see how they're going to bring that in, just in terms of whatever the next big team-up movie is going to be. But I feel like Loki was always going to be the end. I don't want to say end game, but the third one that they would have been showing, because obviously that's going to play into a lot of bigger factors. But it's been decent. This one did the complete opposite of WandaVision, and where they spent that entire budget early on. But hey, I will say that, and you can see it right here, easily, this has been the best episode that they've had so far, episode 4. Thought it was a pretty good ending. I hope they stick the landing with 5 and 6. I hope so.
Definitely. Yeah. Devesh says, I think it kind of works. It's not a race story. It's a story with race themes. I get that. I think
it's a race story. I think Disney's definitely going off of, if you just look at it from the script standpoint. But I can see that perspective as well. I just feel that they're definitely using
it's one of the things they're really selling.
Yeah. But again, I'd rather speak to it after it all wraps up to talk about it more. But we'll see. Do you have any other ones for your picks?
I would go with Made for Love, the new HBO Max show starring Kristen Milioti. I think it's another in this series of shows and movies we are getting that sort of are taking a critical eye towards the tech world and trying to emphasize some of the flaws in the thinking that algorithms and technology will be the cure for all of our ills and unhappiness. It does so through this interesting story about a woman who's married to the head of this tech company, this Google-like company, and how she tries to sort of escape but can't in different ways. I like the way that the series has played with this idea of overreaching technology and this tech bro who thinks that every problem is solvable through innovation. And also, I just really like Kristen Milioti's performance here as this woman trying to find herself again after being stuck, almost playing a role for several years. She's so charming and charismatic that I've been really sticking with this. Also really like that they have Ray Romano in a supporting role.
Ray's great.
Yeah, I think the series is still kind of unfolding a little bit. I'm 5 episodes in. I think they have 6 episodes out right now, but I'm finding it really intriguing. I kind of want to dive deeper and deeper into this world.
Nice. I'm enjoying it, probably not as much as you, but it's still pretty good. And what is your thoughts on certain things being Max originals and certain things being HBO originals? Does that affect the way you approach the show?
Right now, not really. I mean, we've talked about this in the past that HBO has a certain quality level that we expect that I don't know if I'm affording to their Max originals, because some of their Max originals are clearly kind of just trying to fill the Max service with new stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if Elmo's Late Night Show is necessarily up to HBO quality standards. But I think that doesn't mean that a Max original is not going to be good. I think they are investing a lot of money, and while a lot of that investment has been through putting Warner movie releases onto the Max platform, I think we are going to get some interesting shows out of it. I think particularly in comedy, they've done a good job of picking up some comedies from other places.
Mm-hmm.
They've extended Search Party, which they picked up from
Yeah, and that
TBS.
would be okay.
I think they picked up Nora from Queens, or Aquafina is Nora from Queens from Comedy Central, and the other two also from Comedy Central. So they seem like they're trying to develop this selection of content in the half-hour comedy world.
Another one that I enjoyed off of it would have been Generation. To me, I feel
Yeah.
like Max has become kind of like Warner's. It's not up to HBO quality, but then I started thinking, what else do they own? CW. So it's in between HBO and CW, and that's where Generation falls in, right? Business wise, I think it makes sense. You don't want to hurt the quality of the programming that you have on HBO. It is interesting every time I see something get the Max label over the HBO label. It's like I wonder who comes up with the decisions to do that, and that's more so when it comes to the TV side of it. But it's clear that that's kind of like their format right now. It goes HBO, then it goes Max, and then it goes CW. Because at least the Max ones, like, they max out at 8-10 episodes. CW, I believe, is still good. I think they're still doing like the double digits, up to the like maybe 16-20 episodes. So it's been interesting to see them grow with it, but I think that they're still struggling with actually converting their HBO members to HBO Max. So
we mentioned this during our intercut recording, but I would be fascinated if they ever release the movies of or the numbers of what movies are converting subscribers to HBO Max.
How would you even know?
I'm sure they have some way.
The first movie they watch when they sign up?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Are they going to Snyder Cut, or are they going to Godzilla vs. Kong?
Yeah.
Or are they going to Friends?
I guess. We'll see. Answering some of the questions that we got online. What did you guys think about the BAFTA Awards? I feel like we talked about them a little bit at some points. I don't know if it was on the stream or it was on Intercut. Probably the stream, if I'm not mistaken. But
yeah, we talked about the nominations.
We talked about the nominations, not the wins. Okay, hit me with the wins.
Let me pull them up here. Because we talked about Anthony Hopkins taking Best Actor on our Intercut video.
Mm-hmm.
He won over Chadwick Boseman. Otherwise, it's gone mostly the way that we're expecting the Oscars to. Nomadland took Best Film and Best Director. Frances McDormand took Best Actress. Best Supporting Actor went to Daniel Kaluuya. Best Supporting Actress went to Yoon Jung-yoon for Minari. The screenplays went to Promising Young Woman and The Father. And animated film went to Soul. So, also documentary went to My Octopus Teacher, which, by the way, is now the betting favorite.
How did that happen, Vegas. Bro?
I do not understand. Best film not in the English language is also another round. So again and again, these are likely going to be the winners at the Oscars as well. Maybe screenplay isn't going to go this way, and I don't think actor is going to go to Hopkins. I think it's going to go to Boseman, but I don't really think there's anything that happened at the BAFTAs that fundamentally changes what I think will win when it comes to the Oscars.
Now, in terms of you, though, that Anthony Hopkins performance, huh? That Anthony Hopkins performance, I told you.
It's good. It's really good. It's solid. Fantastic. I actually still think I would give it to Chadwick, though.
I mean, I know it's going to go to Chadwick.
Yeah.
But Anthony Hopkins gave the best performance of the year, and I'm glad that he got some recognition there. Do you think, in terms of actress,
Lindo?
Yeah. But in terms of actress, with Frances and Yo Jung-yeon, do you think it's still going to go to them? You think the Oscars are going to switch it up?
I actually think it's going to go to Viola Davis in Best Actress. I do think it's going to be Yoo Jung-yoon. Yeah, I had been saying Carey Mulligan for a while because she hasn't won as opposed to Viola and Frances.
Okay.
And there is a lot of steam around Nomadland, but I think there's also just like there's a sentiment around Viola Davis that she's kind of on that Meryl Streep level, where if she's showing up and giving it her all in a movie that has enough scenery for her to chew, she's going to give you a performance that is worthy of an Oscar. And even though I don't think that is the best actress performance from last year or Viola Davis's best performance, I think there's just so much desire to praise her skill as an actress that ultimately she will pick up the Oscar.
All right. I want to see Pieces of a Woman take it. Just come out of nowhere, snatch it up.
Right.
Well, those are interesting. Yeah. I definitely think Daniel Kaluuya has locked it in for the most part, so that's good
Same.
to see. But yeah, it's pretty solid. Pretty solid list overall. I was seeing some people were saying Magnitude said Time and Crip Camp are so much better than Octopus Teacher. I would agree. Still surprised that it got the nomination, but we'll see.
I think My Octopus Teacher just is like, it's the movie that you can show most easily to like a little kid and they would enjoy it too. I don't know. I like My Octopus Teacher. It's just so simple compared to some of the other documentaries.
Yeah. Devesh said, what would you call the Crash or Bohemian Rhapsody of this year's Oscars? As in, which would cause people to riot?
This is an easy answer.
Go ahead.
Trail of the Chicago 7.
And I find the usage of words in this question pretty funny. I would say, that one as well. But I mean, it didn't get the directing nom, so at least it's clear there. But in terms of what award can it pick up that would be like, that would actually get people infuriated the most?
I mean, there are people who still seem to suggest that it's got a good chance at Best Picture. I don't think that's true. I don't think that's happening. What could happen is they could give Aaron Sorkin Best Screenplay, Best Adapted Screenplay. I don't see that happening personally, but I don't know. That's, if anything, that's what Aaron Sorkin should be awarded for, right? He is one of our great writers, even if this isn't one of his great scripts.
Yeah, well, no, that's not how it should work. But yeah, I see what you mean. I don't see it getting song. I hope it doesn't get cinematography. I like a couple more of the ones in that. Editing, I don't get.
It's crazy that it even got a cinematography nomination. It's definitely not going to win.
Yeah, so I feel like it's still going to be there for screenplay. If it wins picture, that would, I mean, I don't know, bro. You know how the Oscars go. They give you one year, and then they disappoint you the next year, so we'll see.
There is a world in which Lakeith and Daniel split the supporting actor vote, and Sasha takes supporting actor.
Why do you want to live in that world?
I don't. I don't at all. I just know that it exists. It's one of the many timelines.
What would be one of your not front runner picks for Best Picture that you'd be like very happy taking it?
Is Minari enough of not a front runner, or
I think so, because no one is expecting two Korean films to win back to back, and it's an American film. But yeah, the fact that it's got a big
Korean
emphasis on Korean immigrants, I think it would be fantastic.
Yeah. In the comments, Danny Casillas says, "Well, I don't think Trial was terrible. I don't see the film winning anything. I could see Promising winning screenplay, and Sound is winning editing." Yeah, Sound of Metal. Also, I don't know if it's going to win editing. I wouldn't be surprised, but it for sure is going to win Best Sound.
It won editing at BAFTAs.
Did it?
Yeah, look at that, bro.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
So maybe. I also agree, though, on Promising Young Woman in screenplay. You know, I think
surprising.
It's a movie that has gotten a lot of love from the Oscars, and I don't think it's necessarily going to get enough to really threaten in director or picture. But sometimes movies like that, I think back to like Get Out when that won screenplay.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes movies like that get the screenplay award as their kind of like pat on the head. We really liked you and wanted to give you something, even if it isn't the Best Picture award.
Downplay screenwriting so much, but I know what you mean. And yeah, that would be also what we said. The Oscars really expanding out into honoring more genre films, because obviously Get Out being a horror and this being more on the thriller side of things. It would be interesting to see. I think that would definitely be the one that could get some, because she also got Emerald Fennell also got directing. That's what's crazy to me. You and I both enjoy this movie. We sang its praises, but we'll see what it comes out with. I do think Carey Mulligan taking the lead actress would also be crazy. I don't know. I really feel like the Oscars are going to surprise us with more, with a couple of categories this year. So
the experts never get them all right.
Nope.
And it's just kind of figuring out which ones they're going to get wrong.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Magnitude made a pretty interesting comment. He said, "You know how Mexican directors took the Oscars by storm in the 2010s? He's talking about my tíos Coron, Guillermo, Iñárritu. I think the Asian American directors will take the 2020s. Could be. I mean,
Interesting.
Bong took it, right? Who's nominated this year?
Lee Isaac Chung, I think, did get
Wait, that's right.
nominated.
Yeah. Where's director here? How come I don't see it? Right here.
And Chloe. And
Yeah.
Chloe. Oh wait, no. Did
Chloe's
he get
not
nominated
Korean,
for
but I think she's
director?
Chinese. Yeah, of course she's nominated as director. She's taking.
No,
it,
I'm
bro.
talking Lee Isaac.
Lee
Did he get
Isaac got
nominated
director too.
I forget.
Yeah, it's in total
there you go.
Chloe, Emerald, Thomas Vinterberg, which was a surprising one, Lee Isaac, and David Fincher. David's just gonna be there taking shots, but I still think it's gonna be going to Chloe. Lee Isaac would be a crazy win as well. But yeah, we'll see. I could see that definitely being a trend.
I agree with you. I think it's Chloe's for sure. I think Chloe is an even bigger lock than Nomadland.
For sure. Would Mank be a surprise? Could Fincher's be a surprise? It can, because I don't think Fincher ever won a screenplay or anything else.
Nope.
So
I mean, Social Network won screenplay. I think no, I don't think it did actually. But he didn't write the screenplay for it. So no, Fincher's never won an Oscar. There's a chance that he kind of gets the whole like, you're a master who hasn't won one and we need you to win one at some point, but I just don't think it's going to happen for this movie.
Yeah, we'll see.
And it's weird because it is the movie with the most nominations, but I think it's got no shot at Best Picture.
Did you hear about Promising Young Woman having free screenings at college campuses? Thoughts?
Yeah. That I while I like the movie and I like there's certain aspects I like quite a bit about it, it is not a movie that I would consider to be a good educational tool.
Yeah. Which is how they're treating it, and it's like it is directly 50-50 in terms of entertainment and it pretending to be a tool of sorts. So it's interesting, I guess. But they got to put some warnings on that before they start inviting people over to it.
That's the thing I would also say is that the most criticism that I've read on the movie are from other survivors.
Yes.
And to show that as a way of advocating for survivors when those are the people speaking out against the movie the most, very, very incongruous, very weird. I don't like it. Feels like marketing, not like education.
It is marketing. Focus on the college's campus, not on a screening event. But we'll see. Let's see. Prino says, do you think Indian movies or South Asian movies in general ever being nominated by the Academy? I mean, yeah, definitely. I think the more that there's going to be bigger rollouts, especially with the Chinese box office becoming bigger and bigger, it's only a matter of time before you have, even if it's just visual effects first, there's definitely going to be a crossover soon.
Mm-hmm. And part of the Academy's mission in diversifying their membership has been to reach out to some more international audiences, filmmakers, actors. And when you have a more international membership, you're going to have people who are more open to voting for international movies, right?
Easily.
So just the fact that I think you can even say that Parasite's win is in part because they opened up that membership, because the Academy of 10 years ago would not have given Parasite a Best Picture Oscar.
10 years that year, I was surprised. You don't remember all of all the Hollywood Reporter articles that were coming out about the voters, the anonymous voters, and they would tell you that they didn't want to vote for anything if it wasn't American. So, I mean, that's why that one was such a big shock and a big surprise. So we'll see. Moving in over here, I know someone was talking about Mank not getting anything. I could see that happening. I mean, it's a possibility. I am one who enjoys Mank, but I am not arguing for anybody who doesn't like it, because it's like, how am I supposed to convince you to enjoy this black and white film? I was reading up on it because I was listening to some interviews. I don't know if you got the interview with David Fincher and Ben Affleck.
Not the whole thing, but yeah.
Fantastic. It's a really funny interview. But just reading up on how they had, he shot this on I think it was an Alexic, but it's monochrome, so there is no colored version of the film. That's why I'm still rooting for it to win maybe some technical stuff, but even in the technical categories, I'm kind of rooting for some of the other movies, and especially when it comes to the sound, I like how sound was used in Sound of Metal for the story more than it was used here in terms of its aesthetic. But we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Any other questions in the chat? Let's see. Devesh and Prana were talking about Indian films and Oscars. Slumdog, I say, would be more American. I see them talking about that.
Yeah.
In the chat. But in terms of some other ones, Julie says a double feature on campuses of Promising Young Woman and Hunting Ground.
Yeah, like I mean, I don't know which one is the palate cleanser in that scenario, but they both kind of are opposites.
Yeah. Let's see. Did The Father win or get a nomination for production design?
Yeah.
Okay. Then when it comes to production design, absolutely nothing else should win but The Father.
Really?
That's all I'll say.
I still would go Mank in production design.
I wouldn't mind it winning, not that it doesn't deserve it, but damn, am I rooting for The Father? At least for production. You're already taking away the acting went away from me, right? I would be surprised if it gets a screenplay. If there's one thing, it's got to be the production design. I really wish. And again, I really wish they never divided sound. I think dividing sound is really dumb. And in its first year, I already hate it. I hated it when it was announced, but I already hate it. You haven't caught Pinocchio yet, have you?
No.
No, but they had that for 99 cents on Vudu. So it's I'm going to have to catch it at some point.
Yeah, let me know, because I'm trying to watch all the Oscar nominees before the ceremony, and that's one that's very low on my list.
Yeah. Also got News of the World, which I know hasn't gone down in price. Every time I go look for it at the store, that $24.99, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
Let's see. We're going to wrap it up, see if there's any more questions. After that, we are going to be doing our Patreon meeting. So if you are over on Patreon, definitely hit up the link that we have right there for the Hangout. Last time we argued about all of the bracket build up for the best actors in their 30s. And I think the discussion with the patrons was more hefty than probably the recording will be for the bracket. But that's the beauty of it. It's just seeing who can get in. I mean, right now, we're just talking about all the nominations before the wins. And it's always an honor just to have that nomination, to have that recognition there. And I love how when we did our under 30, we had more people yelling at us for what made the bracket more than what we actually had advanced. So that's how we know that just being on the bracket is like a really big deal. So
yeah,
I know we'll have some other discussions in the Patreon Hangout, but we'll be joining that right after this. If there isn't anything else in the chat, I will say starting next week, I'm going to try to go back to doing them on Mondays, talking about all the movies that we have of the week. In Intercut, we did our best movies of the first quarter, so that's everything that came out in January, February, and March. That'll be up there as well. We used to do it halfway through the year, but hey, got to keep you updated on a quarterly basis. Zach also has an entire article up on the A to Z Show website. You can definitely go check that out if you want to follow along through it with the link. And it's also kind of pinpoints you to all of the other stuff that we have had there as well. Let me just pull it up, I guess. So you can check that out. All of our movies that we've picked. Obviously, we also have our South by one that was up. We did our rankings over here on the streams, but we also have an entire intercut on that. And if you go check it out, we got all the videos. So if you want to see our fleshed out thoughts, we've tried to pinpoint all of our intercut shout outs, stream shout outs, LME shout outs, all right there for you as we flesh out the site more and more. But yeah, any final thoughts for the stream before we hop on over?
No, hope to see some of y'all on the Patreon stream. Reminder that you can go to the HEZ Show, LME Explain Patreon and sign up and join us, or you can head over to the Intercut Patreon on patreon.com/intercutpod and get access to some cool features.
Dope. Well, we're going to end it with Pranu. Pranu says, what is your favorite Shakespeare adaptation? Besides R+L that premiered at Sundance this year.
Are we going traditional adaptations or can we go a little untraditional? Because as far as movies are concerned, I think the one that stands out to me is 10 Things I Hate About You.
I was literally about to tell you. I was like, you're going to pull a 10 Things I Hate About You?
Yeah.
I count it. Yeah, that's a pretty solid one. You know, one of the ones for whatever reason has continuously come up as something to rewatch. The uh, Michael Fassbender. He did one. I'm blinking on what it was.
Did he do Macbeth? I think he did
I think
Macbeth.
it was Macbeth. I have been
Yeah,
wanting to
that's when
rewatch that one.
Justin Kurzel, the
Yeah.
director of that one. Yeah.
I'm trying to find it over here because I remember it looked fantastic. There was so much hype for it. And then I remember just it being okay. But I've been thinking back to I'm not saying that this is the best one, but this is one that's been on my mind for a little bit for whatever reason. I've been wanting to revisit it. And if I find the time, I don't know. I just might. um, for me, I'd say I
The
don't
Lion
know.
King.
I guess Lion King, if that would count, right, to a degree.
That's Hamlet.
But I always felt Lion King's also more biblical. It has more biblical ones than it does Shakespeare, but I guess that's also there. So, yeah, I guess that's a couple.
I just typed into Google The Lion King is, and the first results are Hamlet, based on Hamlet, is a ripoff of Hamlet.
Well, there you go. We'll include that one there. But yeah, other than that, definitely let us know your thoughts on any of the other movies that you guys recommend, any TV shows y'all recommend, any film festivals that are on the horizon. I know one that's going on right now is Seattle. Definitely go check that one out because there's a lot of movies that we enjoyed from Sundance, South by, and even some fests from last year that are showing there. So go check that one out.
The New Directors New Films Festival in New York is coming up soon, and I
That's a good
think that
one.
also features a few ones that we are looking forward to, including they're showing Apples, the
Hey,
much referenced movie Apples.
that one's pretty good. Pretty solid. All right. Well, we're going to be joining over on the Patreon Hangouts. If you're a patron, definitely go hop on over there. We'll have a nice little discussion. But other than that, we'll see y'all next week as we hop back on giving you our picks on a weekly basis for what's out to stream and watch. Till then, keep watching movies. We'll see y'all later. Take care.